We hit 100 subscribers on start of the series, and honestly, that means the world to us. So, to say thanks, we've put together another 20 of the wildest, weirdest, and most fascinating facts. This time about pop culture, media, and famous firsts. No fluff, no filler. Just pure info that'll blow your mind and give you something new to think about, or brag about, every few seconds. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. We post bite-sized brilliance every week. And hey, if there's a topic you want us to cover in a future episode, let us know in the comments. You might just see your idea in a future video. Let's start from where we left off. Fact 41. The first TV commercial aired in 1941, and it only cost $9. On July 1st, 1941, the very first television advertisement aired in New York, just moments before a baseball game between the Brooklyn Dodgers and the Philadelphia Phillies. The 10-second spot promoted Bulova watches and simply said, "America runs on Bulova time," with the company's logo superimposed over a clock face. At the time, there were only about 4,000 television sets in the US, so the audience was extremely limited. But it marked the beginning of a multi-billion-dollar industry. That 10-second clip cost the watchmaker just $9, equivalent to about $180 today. It wasn't flashy, but it made advertising history. Fact 42. The first photograph ever taken took over 8 hours to expose, and almost no one knew how to reproduce it. The world's first photograph was captured in 1826 or 1897 by French inventor Joseph Nicephore Niepce. He created the image using a process called heliography, which involved coating a pewter plate with a light-sensitive substance called bitumen of Judea. The plate was then exposed to sunlight for approximately 8 hours. The result was a grainy, black-and-white image of the rooftops outside Niepce's estate, a view called "View from the Window at Le Gras." The photo is now considered the world's oldest surviving camera image. For years after, and even Niepce himself struggled to reproduce it consistently. Fact 43. The first music video played on MTV was prophetic and changed media forever. When MTV launched on August 1st, 1981 at 12:01 a.m., the very first music video it played was "Video Killed the Radio Star" by the Buggles. The song, released in 1979, predicted the cultural shift that television would cause in the music industry, a bold and ironic choice for MTV's debut. The launch was only viewable in parts of New Jersey at the time, but it heralded a new age of music television, where artists would soon become as famous for their visual branding as their sound. Fact 44. Green Eggs and Ham was written on a dare, and it became one of the most iconic children's books ever. Dr. Seuss, whose real name was Theodore Seuss Geisel, was challenged by his publisher Bennett Cerf to write a children's book using only 50 different words. Seuss accepted the challenge and delivered Green Eggs and Ham, a book that went on to sell over 8 million copies worldwide and was translated into multiple languages. The book's simplicity is deceptive. It's a masterclass in phonics, repetition, and persuasive storytelling. Fact 45. The world's first video game console wasn't Atari. It was the Magnavox Odyssey. Often overshadowed by Atari's Pong, the real pioneer of home gaming was the Magnavox Odyssey, released in 1972. Developed by Ralph Baer, the Odyssey didn't use cartridges or complex graphics. Instead, it featured simple black and white visuals and included translucent plastic screen overlays to simulate backgrounds like tennis courts and haunted houses. The console came with dice and scorecards, blending digital and physical gameplay. Despite its innovation, the Odyssey struggled with marketing. Many consumers believed it only worked with Magnavox televisions, limiting its reach. Fact 46. Kermit the Frog was created from an old coat and 2 ping pong balls. Jim Henson built the first version of Kermit the Frog in 1955 for a show called Sam and Friends. Henson made the puppet using a discarded green wool coat from his mother and two halved ping pong balls for eyes. Interestingly, Kermit was not originally a frog. He was just a lizard-like character. Fact 47. The iPhone wasn't the first smartphone. IBM's Simon beat it by over a decade. Before Apple's iPhone revolutionized mobile technology in 2007, there was IBM's Simon Personal Communicator released in 1994. It featured a monochrome touchscreen, email functionality, a calendar, address book, and even primitive apps, all at a time when most people didn't own cell phones. Fact 48. The first astronaut to tweet from space made history in 2009. On May 12, 2009, NASA astronaut Mike Massimino became the first person to send a tweet from space while aboard the Space Shuttle Atlantis during mission STS-125. The tweet read, "From orbit, launch was awesome. I am feeling great, working hard, and enjoying the magnificent views. The adventure of a lifetime has begun." Fact 49. Refrigerators existed before sliced bread, and both revolutionized modern life. The idiom, "the best thing since sliced bread," implies convenience and innovation. But what's lesser known is that mechanical refrigerators predate pre-sliced bread by nearly 2 decades. The first home refrigerators became commercially available in the 1910s, while Otto Frederick Rohwedder introduced sliced bread in 1928. Refrigeration revolutionized food safety, allowing perishables to be stored for longer and reducing foodborne illnesses. Sliced bread, meanwhile, became an instant hit because it standardized portion sizes and saved time. Fact 50. The first phone call in history. On March 10, 1876, Alexander Graham Bell uttered the now famous words, "Mr. Watson, come here. I want to see you." He spoke them into the first working telephone, addressing his assistant, Thomas Watson, who was in the next room. The message traveled through wire via Bell's new invention and marked the beginning of the telephone era. Fact 51. The longest movie ever made runs for over 35 days, and it's about a pedometer. Titled Logistics, this Swedish experimental film runs for 857 hours. That's 35 days and 17 hours, making it the longest movie ever made and shown in one continuous sequence. Created in 2012 by Erica Magnuson and Daniel Anderson, the film documents the life cycle of a pedometer in reverse, starting from its sale and tracing it back through shipping, warehousing, production, and ultimately to its origin in a Chinese factory. It was screened in its entirety in Stockholm and Berlin, but very few stayed the full 35 days. Fact 52. Best-selling single of all time. Released in 1942, Bing Crosby's version of White Christmas quickly became a comforting anthem during the height of World War II. The song resonated deeply with soldiers and families separated by war. It has sold over 50 million physical copies worldwide, a record still unbeaten, even in the age of digital streaming. What's even more impressive is that Crosby recorded it in a single take session that reportedly lasted less than 20 minutes. Fact 53. The first vampire movie ever made was unauthorized and almost completely destroyed by court order. Nosferatu, a symphony of horror released in 1922, was an unauthorized adaptation of Bram Stoker's Dracula. Since the filmmakers couldn't secure the rights, they changed character names. Count Dracula became Count Orlok. But the story was unmistakably similar. Stoker's widow, Florence Balcom, sued the producers and won, and a court ordered all copies of the film destroyed. Miraculously, several prints survived, and Nosferatu is now considered one of the greatest horror films ever made. Fact 54. Freddie Mercury refused dental surgery because he believed his overbite gave him vocal power. Freddie Mercury, lead singer of Queen, was born with 4 extra incisors which pushed his upper front teeth forward and caused a pronounced overbite. Although he was self-conscious about his appearance, he refused to undergo corrective dental surgery for fear it would damage his vocal range. Mercury believed that his unique dental structure helped him produce his famously powerful and expansive voice, which spanned nearly 4 octaves. Modern vocal experts suggest there may have been some merit to this belief, as oral cavity structure does affect resonance. Fact 55, Lego bricks made in 1958 are still compatible with bricks made today. And that's by design. In 1958, Lego introduced its now iconic interlocking stud and tube design, which drastically improved brick stability. This simple but ingenious system was engineered for durability and long-term compatibility. Every Lego brick made since 1958, over 600 billion of them, still fits perfectly with any modern set. The company maintains incredibly strict manufacturing tolerances, allowing for just 2-micron variation between bricks. Lego's emphasis on precision and backward compatibility is a key reason for the brand's lasting popularity across generations. Fact 56. In the 1980s, Garfield was published in more newspapers than any other comic, even surpassing Mickey Mouse. Created by cartoonist Jim Davis in 1978, Garfield quickly became a global sensation. By the late 1980s, the lasagna-loving cat appeared in over 2,500 newspapers in over 100 countries, more than any comic strip at the time. During its peak, Garfield merchandise accounted for nearly $1 billion in annual revenue. Fact 57. Sony's iconic Walkman was almost released under the name Soundabout. When Sony prepared to launch the Walkman in the late 1970s, the marketing team struggled to choose a name that would resonate internationally. In the US, the device was nearly called the Soundabout. In the UK, Stowaway was considered, and in Australia, Freestyle was tested. Eventually, the original Japanese name Walkman was adopted worldwide. The term Walkman is now as iconic as the product itself and was added to the Oxford English Dictionary in 1986. Fact 58. Capri Sun was originally marketed to athletes, not children. Capri Sun, or Capri-Sonne as it was originally known, was developed in Germany in 1969 by businessman Rudolf Wild. It was intended as a portable, refreshing fruit drink for adults engaging in outdoor activities like hiking, cycling, and sports. The unique aluminum pouch packaging was chosen for durability and ease of transport. It wasn't until the 1980s that the brand shifted marketing toward children, especially in the US, using cartoons and fun flavors to appeal to younger audiences. Fact 59. The first soap opera aired on the radio in 1930, and it was sponsored by a soap company. Painted Dreams, often considered the very first soap opera, debuted on Chicago's WGN radio station in October 1930. The serial drama followed the daily life of an Irish-American widow and her daughter. The term soap opera comes from the genre's original sponsors, soap companies like Procter & Gamble, who saw an opportunity to target homemakers with branded entertainment. Fact 60. Monopoly was originally invented as a critique of capitalism, not a celebration of it. The board game we know today as Monopoly began in 1903 as the Landlord's Game, created by Elizabeth Magie. A staunch supporter of economist Henry George, Magie designed the game to illustrate the dangers of land monopolies and the inequalities they produced. Her version included 2 rule sets, one that rewarded monopolization and one that rewarded sharing wealth. Parker Brothers later bought the rights and removed the second rule set, transforming it into the highly competitive version we know today. That's another 20 facts down, and we're not done yet. If you enjoyed this, give it a like to help more people discover it. Don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives and quick hits just like this one. We've got facts lined up that you won't find in your average trivia list. And if there's a topic you want us to cover next, from ancient history to bizarre inventions, drop your idea in the comments. We read every single one. Thanks again for helping us reach 100 subscribers. Now, let's see if we can add a 0 at the end of this number.